velociter vettimos, patrociter nemini facetur, nemini facetur. Gaudiamus dicitur, Juven estum sumus, Gaudiamus dicitur, Juven estum sumus, post jucundem juventutem, post honestam senetutem, nos abebitumus, nos abebitumus. Gaudiamus dicitur, Juven estum sumus, Gaudiamus dicitur, Juven estum sumus, post jucundam juventutem, post honestam senetutem, nos abebitumus, nos abebitumus. Vivat academia, vivat professores, vivat academia, vivat professores, vivat membrem qualibet, vivat membra qualibet, sempre sit flore, sempre sit flore. Vivat academia, vivat professores, vivat academia, vivat professores, vivat membrem qualibet, vivat membrem qualibet, semper sit flore, semper sit flore. Vivat academia, vivat professores, vivat academia, vivat professores, vivat membrem qualibet, vivat membrem qualibet, semper sit flore, semper sit flore.
Good afternoon. Shall we try again? Okay. Good afternoon. I'm the Chancellor. I'm observing a lot of stressed faces. The stress is behind us. This is a day of celebration. We're celebrating great achievements today. And that's what we've come to do. There are some formalities we must go through, but it's a day of celebration, and so we'd like to keep it pleasant and a day of appreciation to the great achievements of the people on my left. But we have to do it in a formal way, so the piece of paper they get at the bottom of the stairs is recognized everywhere. So I have to then say, by the powers vested in me, I now convene this assembly of the Cape Peninsula University of Technology. Thank you.
You may be seated.
Can I once again ask you to stand for a moment of silence? We do this in remembrance of many of our colleagues who passed away, including Mr. Savieres' self, who only passed away yesterday, the 18th of September. Savieres has been associated with this university, and in particular with the graduation ceremonies for over 33 years. May his soul rest in peace. Be seated. Good afternoon. Our dear Chancellor, Dr. Trevor Manuel, members of Council who were gracious enough to join us for this afternoon, our distinguished guest speaker, I'm told that we have Professor Alderman, all the way from UK, who came to make sure that he supports our graduation ceremonies. Members of staff, parents, spouses, friends, and most of all, our graduates. Good afternoon. I want to welcome all of you. When I was walking about, I saw a number of people from KwaZulu-Natal, a number of people from Eastern Cape. You're welcome. And I also saw people from Venda who are here. You're welcome. So all of you, and from Mitchell's Plain, from Kapstadt, all of you are welcome. This is indeed a very joyous occasion at which we celebrate the success of all of you who are graduating today. It's a very special day for it represents a culmination of study, hard work, and sacrifice. Sacrifices not only on the part of you graduates, but sacrifices on the part of your parents, your partners, your spouses, and family members who provided you with both financial and moral support throughout your period of study. So this ceremony must represent an important milestone and a celebration of a collective effort of all who contributed to our achievements. Today, we are holding 2 September graduation ceremonies. These ceremonies were introduced for the first time in 2008, and they are primarily aimed at students who complete their program of study at the end of the first semester. Our normal graduation ceremonies are in spring, or also accommodate postgraduate students who submit their thesis after the deadline for graduation in April. In today's ceremonies, we'll be awarding 653 diplomas and degrees, including 39 master's and 5 master's degrees and 5 doctoral degrees. The large number of postgraduate qualifications that we are awarding today bears testimony to the fact that we are making great strides in advancing research and innovation at CPUT. This afternoon, the graduation ceremony is dedicated to the candidates in the Faculty of Engineering. I may need to tell you a little bit about the Faculty of Engineering. We are one of the largest engineering faculties in the country. We have over 8,000 students, and we cover a range of programs, and our programs are well known and appreciated by the industry. This faculty has done incredible work. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Last year, in November, the faculty was celebrating the launch of a CUBE satellite, CubeSat, which they called Tshepiso. I'm told that that satellite is still orbiting in space and continues to send the data to the ground station at CPUT. Some of the students who worked on the satellites will be graduating today. So this is a wonderful achievement for our students to design and build and be part and parcel of launching something that survives for a very long time. Congratulations. We also know that the faculty is going to be hosting a center for renewable technology. It's going to be the first of its kind. We have been awarded a grant of over 100 million rand to build what we call Saratech Center. So when you come in next year, you'll see a different skyline. A new building that is going to be the center for training people to work in the renewable technology. Recently, advanced manufacturing students have gone to the UK to participate in an international student formula race competition. On their return, they informed me that this year they moved up 20 places, from number 65 in 2012 to number 45 this year. And some of the students will be graduating today. By the way, CPUT was the only African university to participate in the race. What is important and significant is that the formula race car was designed and built by our students. It was still driven by our students. Congratulations to all of you who continue to make this university of yours and our country very, very proud. In order to consolidate the research, the university has approved funding for 5 new research chairs. I sincerely hope that one of these chairs will be in the Faculty of Engineering, Dr. Ntapo, so that we can consolidate the great work that is being performed at CPUT. This university of yours is currently the largest university in the Western Cape with over 33,000 students, which includes a strong contingent of international students coming from over 70 countries across the globe. Our vision at CPUT is to be at the heart of technology education and innovation in Africa. And we believe that through technology and innovation, we'll be able to address critical issues relating to economic and social development, both in the region and continentally. As alumni of this institution, we hope that you'll also commit to this mission. As alumni of this institution, we hope that you also commit to this mission. Many of you will go on to occupy very influential positions in commerce, in industry, and in the public sector. But we sincerely hope that you will not forget where you come from, your communities, your alma mater, CPUT, and that you will use your special skills, you'll use your position and your influence to put something back into those communities, to put something back into CPUT. You all aware that for you to graduate today, you had to do work integrated learning. You know, you couldn't graduate if you have not done that work integrated learning. So I challenge all of you that wherever you go, create one space, just one position for CPUT work integrated learning students. I'm sure if we do that, many more students will be able to graduate. We hope that you will continue to support this institution and that you will further your professional development, and that your further professional development will take place here at CPUT. Many of you have diplomas, Some of you have BTECs. But knowledge is changing rapidly. Yesterday, diploma was sufficient. Today, you need to have a master's degree. So hope you come back and upgrade yourself. You must do that on a regular basis. And we hope that we as CPUT will continue to play that role in your lifelong learning journey. We know that our alumni are our greatest ambassadors. That is why your success is so important to us. In addition, we're so proud of your success thus far, and sincerely hope that we have helped you to place you on a trajectory that will lead you to even greater success in the future. Wherever you go, hold your name, CPUT, up, and we will not have to spend big amounts in marketing and communication, because you are our brand ambassador. You're going to leave what you've learned at CPUT. Congratulations once again for your fine achievements. We salute you as the graduates of the Cape University of Technology and wish you continued success in everything you do in your future. Thank you. Chancellor, it is now my great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker this afternoon, Dr. Masango. Dr. Masango is the CEO. Let me start by saying Dr. Masango is an alumni of CPUT. She is an alumni of CPUT. So you see, this university creates futures and creates great leaders. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Mzezi Energy, a subsidiary of Mzansi Energy Solutions and Innovations Pty Ltd. She is also an Executive Director at Mzezi, and she also fulfills the role of Chief Technology at the same group. She was previously employed at NECSA, South African Nuclear Energy Corporation, as a group executive responsible for NURAD decision. That group has kept over 400 employees who were responsible for what was called then the Safari reactor. She worked at NECSA for 3 years, and she also worked at in the now mothballed pebble bed modular reactor. She was responsible for licensing, safety, and nuclear compliance. She also worked at the nuclear regulator at Eskom, Quebec Power Station. She obtained her PhD in nuclear engineering from Pennsylvania State University in 2008. Dr. Ramatsamela has been effective in putting new teams together and guiding them towards a common goal. She has led teams of scientists and engineers composed of young graduates and professionals and managed to create an environment where everyone felt respected and valued. Dr. Ramatsamela has been an outstanding performer all her life. She obtained her BTech degree in chemical engineering cum laude from CPUT. She received a Fulbright scholarship to study towards a master's degree in nuclear engineering, and she was then awarded a Fulbright Emmy Bill Award for being an outstanding Fulbright applicant for that year. After finishing a master's degree in nuclear engineering, she then decided to complete a PhD. Her experience in nuclear industry has afforded her the opportunity to continue to contribute significantly in the industry, not only to her immediate colleagues and subordinates, but also to the people within the organization and beyond the borders of the organization. She continues to motivate other young professionals to achieve their personal goals, and she strongly believes in empowering those around her. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome Dr. Ramatsemela Masango to address us.
The Chancellor of CPUT, Dr. Trevor Manuel, the Principal and Vice Chancellor, Dr. Prince Nevitalu, members of the University Council, members of the Executive Management, members of the Senate, deans of the faculties, members of the faculty, proud parents, and most importantly, the graduates, friends and families of the graduates, greetings to you all. I thank the Cape Peninsula University of Technology for inviting me to deliver this graduation speech. It is indeed an honor for me to be here, particularly that I am an alumni. I'm a proud alumni of CPUT. Congratulations to the class of 2014. You have done well. You have done your parents well and proud. For the past few weeks, I've been thinking about the message I wanted to deliver today. I could not help but wonder who delivered the graduation speech at my first graduation, December of 1995. That's 19 years ago. I couldn't remember the message. I couldn't remember the speaker. Well, there could be a number of reasons for that. I think it was mostly because I was overwhelmed with the emotions I was experiencing on that day. I had my parents, my family, who traveled all the way from Pretoria to experience my graduation. And I was very proud that I had achieved what I had set myself to achieve. I was very excited about that achievement, and I knew that my family was also excited with me at the time. It was a great feeling. But at the same time, the butterflies I felt in my tummy and the realization that real life is now about to begin, that was nerve-wracking. I started to feel the nervousness of going in the industry for the first time. So I came with this approach that I should deliver a very short speech, so before I lose all of you, I would be done, I promise. But more importantly, I've decided to share my own lessons throughout my career that I wish someone had shared with me, particularly when I graduated. The lessons that I have learned throughout my career. This is what I'm going to share with you. It's my story, but I believe there's a few things you can take away with you today. The first lesson, have a dream, have a goal. That's very important. If you're taking notes, this is the time you can do that now. Have a dream, have a goal. When I graduated with my BTech degree in 1996 at this very institution, I remember very clearly my very favorite professor, Professor Peterson, offered me to stay on and enroll for a master's degree. He even offered a bursary to say, Ramatsemela will even pay for the studies. So for a second, I got very excited and I was jumping up and down. And almost a split of a second later, I woke up from that excitement. And I remembered my dream. And my dream was to go to grad school. But I was very particular about it. I wanted to go to grad school overseas. And I was even more particular about it. I wanted to go to an English-speaking country. I wasn't prepared to go and learn other seemingly complicated languages. I was not interested in that. So English-speaking, my first choice was the USA. My second choice was the UK. So I thanked Professor. I said, thank you very much for the offer, but thank you. You may ask the question, why such an answer? Well, what I was being offered was certainly not on my plan. It was not something I had been dreaming of. Without realizing it, my dream was so entrenched inside of me that even when logic would steer me one way, my conviction inside of me just steered me the other way. drove me just in a different direction altogether. This was an important dot on the path of my life. You will see in a moment how the number of dots, seemingly unrelated, actually connected to form a very beautiful picture. So what is the lesson from the story? Like I said earlier, have a dream, have a goal, have something you work towards, and believe in yourself that you can actually achieve it. And dream in color. Some of you, as I look at you, you look a bit young to know about the black and white television. Some of us, we have seen that. If you dream in black and white, you don't have the detail. Anything that comes along will steer you in one direction. And because you don't have the detail in your dream, you may not even notice it. I was clear about going to grad school. I was clear about what I wanted to go and where I wanted to go. I was very specific. If you have not thought about it yet, I challenge you today. Take time to think about your dream. Take time to set goals. The sooner you do it, the better. Understand who you are, what your values are, what excites you, what gets you going, what are your passions. Do so as soon as you can. Lesson number 2. Now that you have a goal and dreams, now have a game plan. Many of you will be joining the industry if you're not already at work. You will end up in a job, and some of you, not necessarily the job that you wanted as your first choice, but because that was the only offer you received. By all means, grab it. There is nothing wrong with that. What is important, though, is that you walk in knowing that you have a game plan. And that plan will help you realize your dreams. As soon as you realize that where you are is not fulfilling, and it takes you in a direction completely different from what you had planned, do something about it. And the sooner you do something about it, the better for you. Here is something extremely important, though. Walk into an assignment with an open mind. Take note, I said assignment, I didn't say a job. Walk in there with an open mind. When you crafted your dream and game plan, your view of the world was limited by your knowledge, your experiences, and maybe those of people around you. Be open-minded when you take that assignment. You may discover something in that assignment that will change your life forever. When I looked for a job after my BTech in chemical engineering, I was looking for a job in the chemical industry, obviously because I studied chemical engineering. I applied to every big chemical company you can imagine. Unbeknown to me at the time, I also applied for a job at Kuberg Nuclear Power Station. I did not know this. I don't know how that happened. But I signed the letter, I sent the application form, it was at the nuclear power station. And bang, that was the only interview I got, and the only job offer. So what did I do? I took the job, naturally. I didn't want to stay at home. So, as scared as I was to go into the nuclear industry, I took that job. But it was clear to me that this is just a detour. And exactly that. As soon as I get into that job, I'm going to continue applying for a job in the chemical industry. Was I so wrong? What is the lesson here? Have a game plan of how you intend to achieve your dreams, how you intend to achieve your goals, but most importantly, be open-minded. Lesson number 3, I would like to talk about an assignment. So what now? You are graduating today, you have a job, good life, all goes well, everybody's happy, right? Well, not quite. The challenges at the workplace hit young graduates and young professionals so hard that many end up with illusions of what work is really about. Is it about my career? Is it about the paycheck every month so that I can pay the bills? Young people feel that they don't belong. Nobody really cares in the workplace. Please allow me to make this very clear to you today, graduates. No one is responsible for your career except you. The sooner you understand the statement, the better for you, and the sooner you'll take control of your own destination. Where this giant inside of you ends up is entirely up to you. You are the captain of that ship. As soon as you have been shown your new office, you get given a new laptop, you get a security badge, you know where your boss's office is, you've met your entire team, you know where the cafeteria is. Believe it or not, the next move is entirely up to you. You can choose to enjoy your new office. You can lock yourself in that office, put on the headphones, the entire day you listen to music, surf the net, download music, send out emails, play around on the phone, and by the way, you do so before you realize that actually the phone is actually monitored. So you're having a ball, you're in that office, you're enjoying it. Well, that's one category of people. You can also walk in with an understanding that you have been given a new assignment. Your being at that particular place in your life and career means you need to grab knowledge as much as you can, as fast as you can. Learn as much as you can. Participate in as many activities as you can. You need to interact with as many people as you can. You need to be active. Be hungry for knowledge. Be a contributor. Why? Because you are being prepared for your next assignment. Keep that in mind. If you are in this category that I've just described now, and I assume it's all of you sitting here, new graduates, then let me share with you four short points in this regard. Firstly, find a mentor as soon as possible. I'm talking about somebody who has more experience than you do, somebody who's willing to support you through thick and thin, to see you achieve your goals, somebody who's interested to see you succeed, someone who will tell it straight to you when you're messing up big time. Do not be concerned about choosing a wrong mentor initially, because after all, you are new in the company, new environment, so it's fine. You can make that choice, and as soon as you realize that the relationship is not working, as soon as possible, move away. Peacefully, because you'll never know when you're going to meet the same person again, or where you're going to end up working together. So, knock on somebody else's door and find another mentor. That is very important. Nobody reaches the top, whatever the top is, alone. Where I am today, I have been supported by many, many people, some of whom didn't even know that they are my mentors. So find yourself a mentor. Point B, perform every assignment to the best of your ability. If you do not feel a sense of pride and accomplishment when you deliver that assignment or that report or whatever project you were tasked to do, then you probably didn't give it your best. You are just doing it to just put a tick in a box. You are just doing it for the sake of doing it. Well, believe you me, it shows very quickly when I go through a report and somebody didn't put an effort. And I also don't put an effort in it. Ask something if you are not clear. Be curious. Seek to understand. Go an extra mile. But do that assignment to the best of your ability. Number 3, work in a team. No prize at this point for guessing that teamwork is very important. I'm sure you have learned it through your studies in the past few years, but in case you haven't, you'll learn it very quickly in the work environment. I cannot overemphasize it, that the fact that as an individual, you'll achieve this much, but as a team, as a collective, you'll achieve much more. It gives me goosebumps sometimes to think of how the women of 1965 clubbed together and did something amazing that we still talk about in our history today. How the youth of June 1976 just came together and did something very, very powerful. That's why we are where we are today. So teamwork is amazing. It's great. So the sooner you learn how to work in a team, the better for you. Make sure that your role is clear, that you participate, that you meet your own expectations and those of your bosses and your supervisors. Offer to help others and ask for help if you are not clear. Volunteer to participate. Be an asset that no one would want to lose. The 4th point, do the right thing even when no one is looking. Your integrity is very important to building your career. Do the right thing all the time. Not when it is convenient to do so, not because somebody else is watching, but that it is right to do so. The truth actually is that somebody is watching. Your next promotion doesn't just come by chance. It's because somebody has been watching and observing you. If you can remember these points as a minimum, and there are a few more, but today I just chose to share with you those 4, then you are on the right track to building a successful career. I started applying these principles even before I could understand their impact on my career. These are the things I did because it felt right to do so. Okay, so now back to my other lessons. Lesson 4, move on when it is time to do so. When I started to work at Kubek Nuclear Power Station, I was an operator and I worked shifts. What I used to do when I was on afternoon shift and night shift, when all the day shift had gone and the plant was running smoothly, no problems, I would take out the drawings and do the plant walkthroughs. That was my own way of learning the plant. And when I came across something I didn't understand, questions I couldn't answer for myself, I took note. And the next time I was on morning shift and I could interact with the day shift and the supervisors and everybody else, I took out my long list of questions. That was my way of learning, and I learned very quickly. For some time now, I've had issues with how we box people into so many years of experience. So you are not considered for a job because you don't have this many years of experience. You can't do that because you haven't spent this many years doing that particular thing. I think it's a very limited opinion. At the end of it, what it boils down to is what you did with the time that you had when you were given that assignment. How you used every opportunity that came your way. How you went out of your way to seek opportunities, to learn more, and to be exposed. Take every assignment seriously. And when it is time to move, move very quickly, without being too concerned about people saying, oops, she is moving too quickly. I was never bothered about that, because the time I was given to do every assignment, I did it in the shortest possible time for me, because of the focus that I had, because of the way I was working. So I didn't want to be compared with, you must operate this plant for 2 years. Only after 2 years you'll know the plant. In fact, you'll have people operating it for 5 years. You come in 12 months' time, you know a whole lot more. It's about attitude. It's about your commitment. It's about how you really see your work and how you value it. So remember that even when we have those time frames defined, that you need so many years, you need so much time before you can be considered experienced, you were not there when those numbers were decided upon. And by the way, those numbers were decided upon using an average person. I never considered myself average. So if you consider yourself average, then you'll fit into those boxes. But I believe the graduating students of today are not average. You are above average. So watch when you are being boxed like that. Point number 5, let's talk about failure. This is one word I wish I could redefine for everybody. For me, I have redefined it as an opportunity to realize that I did not achieve what I had set myself to achieve due to one or more wrong decisions, and I say wrong because I didn't have the hindsight. And it's the opportunity to realize that I can actually make corrections and move on. Perhaps some of you sitting here today, graduating, you started off your first year as an electrical engineering student. A few semesters down the line, after repeating 1 or 2 courses, you get to realize electrical engineering is not for me. What you are now faced with is an opportunity to realize that perhaps I need to make a change. This field, maybe you chose it because a friend was going there, because your dad was an electrical engineer, or some family member was steering you towards that career choice. Now you realize, in fact, you don't even have a passion for it. And at this point, you feel that you are in the deepest, darkest hole, and you have a lot to explain to your parents because they have sacrificed a lot to pay for your fees. The truth is, the sooner you stand up and realize what went wrong and accept that you have not succeeded in achieving those goals, the sooner you can accept that state of affairs and see this as an opportunity to refocus on what you really are meant to do. By the way, quite often it's not about being in the wrong field, but it is about making wrong decisions, about prioritizing your studies. So when everybody else is studying, you doing something else, and the results show up. So the sooner you realize where you went wrong, the sooner you can then replan and continue. Therefore, careful analysis of really what went wrong in you not attaining that goal is very important. The sooner you pick yourself up and dust off that mess, the sooner you notice that there's a door right next to you that has been opened. It's right in front of you, especially for you. As you go through that door, take with you the lessons that you have learned from this experience. And I say the lessons. Forget the bad experience and the pain that comes with it. You will need that for the next phase. And I repeat, you will need that for the next phase. This is the very reason why you had to stumble on that very issue, because you were being prepared for your next assignment and you had to take that lesson along with you. Lastly, let me talk about business, because I'm in business now. There are a number of reasons why people get into business. Running a business was certainly not in my picture 20 years ago. The bigger picture of my dream was to be a leader, was to be somebody influential, and certainly not in politics. I used to see myself sitting in a big boardroom with an oval-shaped table, with me sitting at the head of that table, chairing meetings and talking to big people. I'm not quite sure on that picture how big I was, but the fact that it was big people sitting around the table, I think I painted myself big as well on that picture. But as I was preparing for this speech, I came to realize that our offices, we have a boardroom, we have a big boardroom. In that boardroom, the table is oval-shaped, and I always sit at one spot. I always sit at the head of the table. It was the dream that I had. It was that picture that I had in my mind that I could never really explain, not even to myself, not to the next person, but I'm actually living that right now. Now let me help you connect the dots in case you're not seeing this. It was clear in my mind a few years ago that I wanted to go to grad school. I wanted to obtain the degrees, and I eventually obtained those. But that was not the destination. Even though it looked like that was only a dream, it really was to help me get somewhere. This very picture I'm telling you about, even though I saw it in my mind in color, it was in black and white, I could not explain it. It was the many dots in my life that eventually connected and made this picture even clearer. And believe me, this is the journey of my life, and I'm still traveling. So, being the extremely shy person that I was growing up, with little self-confidence, I was extremely, extremely shy. It was clear in my dream that the way to get to the top had to be differently. I had to be above average. Hence the plan to go to grad school. I understood that qualifications were at least going to help me to stand out from the crowd. The qualifications were going to open doors for me. And of course, that is exactly what is happening now. But I knew very well that my shyness, my reserved personality was not going to take me there. So for me, it had to be my education. It had to be the quality of my work. It had to be the commitment. A team member that every team leader or manager would want to have. My integrity. All that. That is what was going to get me there, to where I wanted to be. The many dots that I have come across on my path have led me to being in business today. So you'll ask, why? Why business? There are many, many, many reasons I can tell you today, but allow me please to share only two with you. One of my mentors, Dr. Alex Seller, says in his latest book, The Wealth System, he says, being wealthy is not a goal, but rather a tool to helping one to follow their passion, to follow their purpose in life. How will you pursue your purpose in life, graduating students, if you are poor? How will you do that? Now let me ask this. What if I was about to challenge you, graduating class of 2014, and I say to you, think about and consider and ultimately select 2 young learners not related to you and take them through their first degrees in the next 5 years. This should involve, as a minimum, mentoring them, paying the tuition fees, paying for all their school-related needs, computers, books, and so on, paying for boarding and lodging, paying for their monthly stipend. Support them until they graduate and obtain their degrees. Exactly what you are achieving now today. You may start with one and see them through until they complete and then take the next student. Remember, my challenge is for 2 people. You may also choose to wait several years until you start on this project. Now, if I may ask the graduating student, how many of you would take up this challenge? As you go into the working environment, you just take only 2. You help educate them. How many of you would want to do that? Of course, out of the goodness of your heart, you'd want to do that. It makes sense to do it. But how many of you would actually be able to do it? Are you thinking about it? I suspect very few of you. Why? The answer is very simple. You lack resources. How will you manage to pull somebody up and give them the opportunity to be educated like you have been now if you barely survive from paycheck to paycheck? The bottom line is we need financial resources to educate the nation. We'll not do it if we are faced with month-to-month paycheck, when actually half the time, by the time you get to month end, you are really in dire straits. You need the right mindset to get into business and generate wealth. It is a conscious decision to make. If you don't want to be wealthy, then that's fine. But please do it so that we can do it for the betterment of the society. But I suspect that once you're wealthy and you can take care of your family, you will have just about enough to take care of others. That is very important, helping others. We can't look out only to government for solutions to the problems of our nation. We have to stand up and play our part and contribute to building this nation, this beautiful country that I love so much. I challenge you, graduates, to seek opportunities in business. There is a little quote that I like so much by Dr. Miles Monroe. He says, "The richest place on earth is the graveyards. The graveyards are full of ideas that were never implemented, books that were never written, businesses that were never started, talent that was never discovered, and much, much more." Graduates, are you going to contribute to making the graveyards even richer than they are now? Keep the answer to yourself. I'd like to leave you with the following thought. As much as knowledge is power, and I think we've had that all our lives, what is really key though is applied knowledge. That is what takes you to the next level. Thus, seek wisdom, seek knowledge, but more importantly, apply it. Once again, congratulations to the class of 2014. Thank you.
ekugqibeleni kubo bonke uthe wabonwa, ekugqibeleni